Hey one, hey all, and it's time for one of my most favorite events of the entire week. It's Monday, and that means here on the channel it's Countdown Day. And this week the topic is a real simple one, or I thought it was going to be a real simple one, though the voting was bonkers for it. It is the top 10 dumbest Transformers names. That'll be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links, all of that in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. And this is the top 10 dumbest Transformers names. And there have been a lot. One guy said, none. That's not true. That's just objectively not true. Some of these names are idiotic. Some that I expected to have votes didn't get any at all, and some that I expected would be high on the list or make the list didn't. It was an interesting round with a lot of names given. So we're going to start with the honorable mentions first. First things first, Movor, Discharge, ew, Red, Hot Rod, Midnighter, and Zetar, all honorable mentions. They all had the exact same number of votes. They did not make the list. Who did? Well, you know what we're going to do, baby. We're going to kick things off, of course, with number 10, a first. Coming in at number 10 is a Transformer whose name doesn't really make any sense, and I think that's why people voted it as dumb. It is also a fan favorite, and it's this guy. Yup, Bumblebee. Number 10 is Bumblebee. I get it. He's named because he's black and he's yellow. He was a bug. I get it. But a lot of people that voted for him said, why would he be named Bumblebee? Because on Cybertron there weren't bumblebees. Like, they are an Earth species. It makes no sense that he would be named that. Then some people said, even if you wanted to go with Cybertron, he didn't have a name. He had a designation of B-127. That's not a name. It's not even a name. It's just a thing. It might as well be a license plate. Did other characters just have designations? You know, was Brawn still Brawn? Was Ironhide still Ironhide? Was Optimus Prime still Optimus Prime? If they were, then why was Bumblebee B-127? It just kind of made no sense in a lot of voters' minds. Maybe it does to you. Maybe you hear number 10 and you think, no man, Bumblebee's a perfect name for the guy. I'm surprised he made the list at all, but nevertheless, the votes don't lie and Bumblebee takes the number 10 slot. Number 9 is another enormous fan favorite, and it's this guy. Yeah, coming from Beast Wars, good old Dinobot himself. People said, look, awesome character, stupendous character, was not given a great name. It was a lazy name because the Dinobots are a faction. They were already established as a faction. So just naming this one character as Dinobot seemed lazy, especially when he wasn't the only dinosaur on the series. Like Megatron wasn't named Dino Megatron, for example. Pterosaur wasn't named like Pterodactyl, you know, or Pterobot or something like that. Why was Dinobot given such a lazy name? I don't know, like all these years later, I've gotten used to the fact that that is his name and I'm cool with it. But at the time, in the 90s, I'm not going to lie, when I first heard this character's name, I did chuckle to myself and said, that's pretty lazy. And that was in the 90s when I was like 19, something like that, and I heard this guy's name. It didn't sit right with me from the beginning, but it has grown on me over the years. Anyway, you cut it, whether you like the name or don't like the name, fans voted for this guy because they said, you know what? He's the embodiment of a group, and that doesn't make any sense. It is what it is, and Dinobot took the number 9 spot. Number 8 takes us to Action Masters, and a bit of a unfortunate, I suppose, a bit of an unfortunate rename with this. Yep, Omega Supreme. Omega Supreme is our number 8. Obviously, this was done at a time when Omega Supreme was a name they couldn't use. I don't know. Had a lot. I guess it was trademark issues or some such thing. A lot of people that voted for this said, "Look, you should have just called him Omega or Action Omega, something like that." I don't know if Action Omega is any better, to be honest with you. But Supreme is like, come on. It was obvious what you were doing. It was a sad attempt at Omega Supreme without being Omega Supreme. Enough fans felt that way that he took the number 8 slot. Number 7 sticks with Dinobots and this guy. Yep, that's right. Slug. Slug has, in a lot of people's name, or minds, a dumb name. A lot of people said now he's named after a bug. At least with his original G1 name, he was named after Industrial Castoff. I get it. His original G1 name, a lot of people said, that is a swear word in the UK. Maybe. I don't know. I don't live in the UK. If you do, you would know this better than I do. I have never heard it used anywhere else in the entire world except that one reference of that. When I do hear it used anywhere else in the world, it's Industrial Castoff. When it comes to being changed to Slug for political correctness, people said either now it sounds like a bug or now it sounds like something that would come from like a pistol. I don't know what sort of a thing would use a slug. But you get the idea, right? To me, I will always stick with the G1 name. I don't like this either, and I kind of agree with the voters. And this guy takes the number, is it 7? Yeah, the number 7 slot. Number 6 takes us to the somewhat rare quartet of the accelerators and this guy. Yeah, it's poor old Windbreaker, named after really a jacket that you would wear that kind of helps break the wind on a cold fall day. Now, some people would argue and say, wait, he also went by the name Zap. But Zap, a lot of people said, is still a lazy name, so the vote still counts. Whether you voted for Windbreaker or whether you voted for Zap, I ended up amalgamating those together because Zap is lazy. Windbreaker, when I hear it, I think of a jacket rather than a transformer. For both of those reasons, this guy, whichever name you prefer, takes the number 6 slot. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Can you hear the hush? Can you hear the silence? Because we are at the most coveted of locations, the halfway mark. And at the halfway mark, we have, again, kind of an entrant from Action Masters. Do you remember Action Master Soundwave? Well, he came with this guy. Yup, Wing Thing. Now, when I had Action Master Soundwave, and fun fact, as a lad, Action Master Soundwave was the only version of Soundwave I had. I remember thinking, Wing Thing sort of really looks like an orange version of Ratbat. It's alright. And I went with Wing Thing, but I always felt like Wing Thing was better suited for a bird, like something like a buzzsaw or laserbeak, like more of a bird than a bat. I never thought it was a bad name, I just thought it was a weird name. Why wouldn't you just paint the thing red or purple and say that he came with Ratbat, say that Soundwave came with Ratbat? I sort of never understood the logic of Wing Thing's existence, and all these years later, I still don't understand the logic of Wing Thing's existence, and he took the number 5 slot. Number 4 takes us to Micromasters and the leader of the Hot Rod Patrol back in the 50s, this guy. Whether you refer to this guy as Big Daddy or more recently in, I want to say the Earthrise line, maybe the Siege line, as Daddy-O, I get it, it's supposed to be a play on the slang of the 1950s, but there's something that just sounds a little unwholesome about both of those names. At least that's what voters said. I don't know if I see it or not. Maybe. I mean, Big Daddy or Daddy-O, it doesn't sound like a Transformer is all I'm going to say. And you know what? Enough people felt that way that he easily took the number 4 slot. Number 3 delves into Beast Wars and this guy. Now in North America, the character that uses this same mold was known as Razor Beast. In Japan, the character that used this mold was one of the worst sufferers of gold plastic syndrome, and he was saddled with one of the worst names in all of Transformers, that being Randy. Like Randy. Yep, that's a Transformers name, all right. There's an alien name, all right. The poor guy, I kind of feel bad for him. He was doomed from the beginning of his existence. Not a great character on the program. Full of GPS and a dumb name to boot. He was doomed to be a failure in Transformers lore. And Randy certainly fills the bill at the number 3 slot. And number 2 is pretty lame with an awful name, and it's this guy. Yeah, buddy, it is Wheelie. And everybody that voted for Wheelie said the same thing. The name should have gone to some Transformer that had a motorbike or bicycle mode. Preferably a motorbike mode, because at least a bike of some sort can do a wheelie. Wheelie's a car. Or, if you know him from the movies, he's a remote-controlled monster truck. Any way you cut it, neither of them are likely to do wheelies. Maybe the monster truck might do wheelies, come to think of it. But the G1 lad, probably not going to do wheelies. Everybody said the same thing. Whether you agree with it or not, everybody said that the name Wheelie should have been reserved for a character who was a bike or motorcycle of some sort. I see it. I see the logic. Anyway, whether I see it or didn't, whether I agree or not, Wheelie took the number 2 slot, and that only leaves us with 1. And number 1 is arguably an inappropriate name, arguably a dumb name, but it goes applied to a character that I've had a ton of fun with when I've done the review for this guy. And I gotta say, it's one of the Micromasters that I most enjoy. And it's this guy. Yup. Erector. I'm sure that Erector was named because he's a construction vehicle and he builds things, right? He erects things, but that's not what people think of when they hear his name. It is an unfortunate play on words, and it saddled our boy from the Micromaster portion of, you know, the Transformers lore and fandom with one of the worst names. Actually, it saddled him with, according to the votes, the worst name. There you go. We've gone from 10 to 1 based on the votes, but that's not the only bad names, man, that had votes. I'm going to take a look here and give you a few more that had some votes that are pretty terrible. Tote, B-Boom, Squeaks, Barricade, Artfire. Does he shoot art? That's what somebody said. Emirat, Zeron, G, Axus, Sideburn. What other facial hair is anybody named after? Eject. Optimal, Optimus. Again, it seemed like lazy naming for a lot of people. Who else did we have here? Claw Jaw, Drill Horn, Drill Nuts, Dispenser, Thrustinator, poor old Thrustinator, Hot Shot, Shroot, who else? Peepo, or that was the Japanese name, which translated to wee-woo. So, wee-woo. Hacker, Twitch, Road Police had a couple of votes. Slowpoke, Skids with the Zad. Cup, as in pick up. Wreck-Gar, Wreck and Garbage. Yeah, there have been some pretty bad names. Somebody even voted for Kicker. Kicker's just a bad character always around. Let me know which ones you thought were the worst, and if your favorites even made the list. I appreciate you coming by, give me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every day, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.